Music stopped. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 8 of the Sunday Sauce. This is part 2. Oh my God, I'm dizzy. This is part 2 of our doubleheader today. Something we didn't establish before. We are doing a doubleheader today. We will probably not be on the air next week until Monday when we go live.
Oh, yeah.
For the trade deadline.
Big day.
Huge day. We can't go live. We can't be here without some help from some of our friends. Our friends, first and foremost, over here at the Eastern Observer. Our friends over with Andrew and his team over at Lividity LLC. We get a lot of help from our friends over at the Primetime Rundown. Fridays at 7, you can join up with Joe, Rob, and Ian to talk all things sports between the NCAA, NHL, NFL, MLB, and more right here on YouTube. And if you can't catch them live, you can catch them on demand at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, I-95 Sports Network, YouTube, and Spotify. We also get a lot of help from our friends over at the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Every Tuesday, 5 p.m., you can join Al, John, Gary, and Ryan as they discuss everything that happened in the week of professional wrestling. You catch them Tuesdays at 5 p.m. right here on YouTube, and same deal. You can catch them on demand at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spotify. I'm going to pass out one of these days. I'm telling you.
I saw the light leave your eyes.
Yeah, the life it's just going to just pour out of my ears one day. This episode is going to be something a little bit different than we normally do, which is going to be interesting because the next 2 episodes now are not going to be normal for us between trade deadline and today. We're going to discuss our own teams for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And because I need to catch my breath, we're going to let you go first. So
pass out on me, dude.
So we got the Rangers that we'll talk about. So overall, Rangers, 58 games played, 36, 17, and 5 record, good for 77 points. Currently sitting 3rd in the East. Third in the Metro, I should say.
Yeah.
Washington, not too far behind you. Could get a little scary at some point. Washington's not playing too well, though.
No.
You probably don't need to worry a ton about Columbus. You almost certainly don't have to worry about us. If you get to a point in the season where you got to worry about us, you're going to miss the playoffs.
No, things went catastrophically wrong.
No, I'm being dead serious. If you get to a point where you have to worry about us in the playoff chase, you miss the playoffs.
Yes.
A lot of upside on the Rangers this year. Obviously, some people, myself included, have said, and I stand by it, certainly overachieving. I think it's been look, I think you can look at it from both ways. I think you can certainly look at it as overachievement. I think you can also look at it as just this is what was expected, and it's just happening much earlier than everybody thought.
Yeah.
Obviously, look, I think there's been 2 things that stand out to everybody this year with the Rangers. The first one being Chris Kreider just going ballistic this year. He's
sicko mode.
Yeah, like he's got 38 goals now, 58 games played. Honestly, could make a legitimate bid at a 50-goal season. Like it's insane. And the other one, which everybody in the world knows about, is your goaltending. One of it being terrible, and the other half of your goaltending being a Hart Trophy consideration.
Oh, yeah.
You got Igor Shesterkin, 37 games started, 28, 7, and 3. Record-setting numbers, 202 goals against, 939 save percentage, 3 shutouts. I mean, walk us through it. What's gone right this season? What needs to keep going right?
What's gone right is the power play in our top 6, aside from our goaltending, because you don't need to talk about that. What needs to be fixed is the bottom 6 in their 5-on-5 play. They have one of the best power plays in the league. The top 2, the Zibanejad Lafreniere and Kreider line is honestly one of the best lines in the league. But when you get past that second line, things get scary.
Right.
Especially with Kako being out, we need him back really bad. Dryden Hunt needs to never play on the second line ever again. I hate Dryden Hunt.
You're not the first person I've heard that from.
Yeah. He has no business being there. So definitely a focus on the trade deadline is getting another right winger. Hopefully, I want Ricard Raquel. I think he would round this out really nicely. But then I think they're also going to end up trading Philip Hedel.
Well,
which I don't mind. What was that? No, stop. Enough with Claude Giroux. And I would have said to trade for a defenseman, but I'm not so sure anymore. Especially with the way Braden Schneider's been playing. I just really want them to let Zach Jones play and get rid of Patrick Nemeth. I think you do that, and I don't think you have to touch our defense. One thing I need them to really do, too, is give Schneider more playing time on special teams because Adam Fox is getting burnt out really bad. He looked physically ill in the game against St. Louis. And it's because he's been playing 25 minutes a night for 2 seasons.
Okay.
The human body cannot withstand that.
Not in today's game, though.
No. It's going to be small adjustments, but there's a lot. I'm extremely happy with the season, and because of Igor Shesterkin, they have an actual shot at going all the way because of him.
So, going back to a point I had made in our previous episode earlier today, which I told you I was going to answer, and I'm just not going to waste time on it, only because we're starting the show with the Rangers. So, for those who missed the show before this, first of all, you're a bad person if you don't go back and watch it.
Right.
Second of all, I had said, are you worried about Shesterkin getting burned out, similar to how you're talking about Adam Fox right now? And you tell me no.
Correct.
But now, if I remind you of I don't want to call it a problem, but the thing that goes around the league, you can call it multiple different things that we've called it in the past. Tuukka Rask syndrome, Braden Holtby syndrome, where they go out and play a 70-game season and then and they disappear in the playoffs. Especially because I think with all the rumors of Georgiev more than likely being on his way out, whether it be at the end of the regular season or in free agency, or whether it be in 8 days or within 8 days.
Hopefully in 8 days.
Depending on your return in goalie or whoever you decide to bring up from Hartford, the load solely falls on him now.
Well, my thing about that is people forget that we have Keith Kincaid in the minors, and he's a career backup. Like, I do not mind him being our backup and starting because he's played well. Like, he can start a couple games. Like, if we don't have a lot of back-to-backs, I don't think. But if we get down the line and first place is out of reach, but also whoever's in the wild card, Washington, won't reach us, throw Kincaid in there as much as you want. If we've locked second or third, which it doesn't matter because you're going to play the same team anyway,
right?
Start Kincaid. Kincaid is proven to be a legitimate backup because it takes a certain mindset to be able to be a backup, which Georgiev does not have.
Well, Georgiev, so the thing I've noticed in the last few years with him, because I remember at one point before, I guess Shesterkin was taken
before he came up.
But yeah, I guess before the idea of him coming here was taken seriously. Because remember, there was quite the goalie carousel going on here.
Oh yeah,
through a couple of different Lundqvist ailments and injuries. That's why Cam Talbot was able to secure a paycheck. And it was seen that when Hank's time came up at some point for a solid season or two, everybody thought Georgiev was going to be the guy.
Yeah, he was good.
So one of the things I notice in his gameplay is that when he plays once every week and a half, bad. Very bad. When
he needs consistency.
Gets 3, 4, 5 games going in a row, it's almost like he's going to find his groove and just stick in it.
Yeah.
Like he'll go, based in my opinion, like if he plays 6 games without a rest, he'll go 4-2, but he'll lose the first two, or lose the first one, probably lose the second one in overtime, and then go on a 4-game winning streak. It's like almost finding his rhythm.
Yeah, and you kind of saw a small part of that just now after he got cornholed in Minnesota and then had to play the last two periods against St. Louis. Like, the first goal was bad. He fell down. But then he was making the last period and a half, like, he was making great saves.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I could see some of the changes you were talking about. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, and please forgive me if these are people I should know. I don't know who Tim Gettinger is.
You should not know who that is.
And I don't know who Johnny Brodzinski is.
Marginally should know who he is.
Like I'm not saying, like, it's not a look. Obviously, you and I talk about this stuff all the time on our personal time. That's not a disrespect thing. I just don't know.
No, they only got called up because what's his name? Kevin Rooney is hurt.
I know he's hurt.
Yeah, a couple guys hurt. So you would not normally see Brodzinski and Gettinger in the lineup.
Yeah, it's like I know this is going to sound very typical of me, but like if you're not a highly regarded prospect, chances are I've honestly never heard of you.
Which is fair enough.
Because it's just, I'm sorry, that's just how it is for me. Your defense would look really good with Zdeno Chara on it, let me tell you.
But not from you.
You want him?
No.
I'll Uber him to the building for you.
I would pay not to have him.
Okay, that's a fair trade for me too. So one thing, I guess, see, conversations like this are fun for me because I'm like an outsider looking in.
Yeah.
I don't follow you guys like you follow your own team. One thing I noticed though is when guys like Kakko and Lafreniere are actually getting top 6 minutes, they're pretty scary players.
Dude, especially, I mean, Lafreniere right now is like the biggest example of that. People were calling him a bust for how long. They throw him on the top line for a week or so, and now he's nasty.
Well, I had said after last season, I might have actually been, I might have still been doing stuff on Primetime Rundown at the time. I had actually said on that show, it's like, on a personal level, I'm not really willing to call somebody a bust.
Yeah.
A year into their career. Because if that was the case, what, like 70% of the people in the NHL right now would be busts?
Yeah, people who like that do that, they're whack jobs. But so people are doing it,
So for me, it's like, I won't call you a bust probably, honestly, until your contract year. Figure a guy like, look, when you're a first overall pick, you're going straight to the NHL. You're getting your 3-year entry level contract. So I'm personally I wasn't willing to get on his case right away.
And something else that we've mentioned before that you mentioned was that we've just been spoiled by the Connor McDavids and Austin Matthewses of the drafts, who immediately are scoring 40 goals a season.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I guess people weren't ready or they weren't prepared to have like a pure playmaker get drafted first overall. Because look, I'm sorry, maybe once or twice in his career, I don't think Lafreniere is going to end up being a consistent 30-goal scorer. I think he'll do it a couple times, but I think he's going to be more of like a 20, 25 goals and like 80 assists.
More of an Artemi Panarin type.
Yeah. But I think there's time until that happens.
Yeah, I mean, let him be able to legally drink a beer in America first.
Yeah, seriously. Some trade rumors the last few days going around. Obviously, the one you don't want to hear, but Claude Giroux has been rumored to come to the Rangers. And not only has it been said that he was going to possibly be traded here, you're now the favorites to land him.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
The other thing, I just saw today before we started, that you guys are going to make a pretty hard push at Patrick Kane this summer.
I also read that, and I'm okay with it, but the article I read involved trading Capo Caco, and I'm not okay with that.
So, again, I agree with you. I don't think for Capo Caco I would make that trade. I don't think you trade a 22-year-old kid now, 21, 22-year-old kid.
He's 21.
For Patrick Kane, who is going to be 34 starting next season.
Yeah, I mean, that's
if I'm in your shoes, the only way I'm okay making that trade is if I get Patrick Kane and I'm guaranteed a cup 3 out of the next 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll do it. They can take, Kravtsov and a couple picks and stuff, but not Kako.
Yeah, I mean, and look, Kravtsov is obviously more than likely on his way out before Monday.
He's not going to play with us, so you got to trade him, yeah.
I think he's going to be a pretty important piece in that Giroux trade.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say the Giroux trade, whether it be
whatever trade is made.
I think whatever trade, it's going to be like, hey, you keep that extra third-round pick. Just for the love of God, take this guy.
Yeah.
Because look, I mean, we can both agree it's not. I don't think Kravtsov talent's in question. I don't think his ability is in question. I think it's just he doesn't want to be with you guys.
Yes,
which is fine. I've gone through it myself with Nino Niederreiter, another unnamed horrible person who plays in Toronto. Look, I'm sorry, it happens. It's
you have to play it the right way. You can't lose him for
exactly 100%. Look, I think one of the biggest things people forget at the end of the day with sports is that sports are a business.
Yes.
No matter how you want to look at it. So if it's not a good business decision to play for your team, then I will not play for your team.
Yeah.
But there is, like you said, there is a way of handling it. So other than this supposed Patrick Kane rumor, other than the almost inevitable Claude Giroux trade, what else could you possibly see to help you guys out? Because I mean, just some trades that stand off the top of my head. Like, I don't think Chychrun is an option for you anymore.
No, that's out.
Obviously, you're going to do next to nothing with your goaltending unless it's going to be Georgiev related to get him out of here.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think we have to touch our defense. I really don't.
Yeah.
Especially just because of the way Braden Schneider has played. We don't need to touch it. The only move I would like to see made is Patrick Nemeth being a healthy scratch and Zach Jones being a starter, unless he gets traded, which is possible.
Right.
I still keep seeing the Rangers tied to Rickard Rakell, and I would absolutely love that trade.
That surprises me. That really surprises me. Not because I don't think you can get him, but Anaheim is not far out of a playoff.
No, they've been playing well. They've been playing very poorly recently. They've dropped.
Yeah, I mean, right. Currently, through the Pacific Division, they sit in 6th.
Which I don't know if I would be sellers if I were them.
Yeah, which I mean, my thing with Anaheim is that, look, they sit at 63 points right now. To get back into the Pacific, they only need 5 points.
The Pacific is a crazy division.
The problem is they're not going to. Calgary and Vegas out of the question. No, they're not catching them. The fact that LA jumped into 2nd in the Pacific
LA's white hot,
mind blowing.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the right time for Anaheim to sell.
It could be.
Just based off of the fact of it for a guy like Rakell, because in the past, within the last, I would say, easily 4 or 5 years, I've said a handful of times myself, like, I want that guy.
Yeah.
And I will do whatever I need to do to get him.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not get him. I got a Kyle Palmieri instead. Which which by technicality, I did get an Anaheim Duck. So
yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I probably wouldn't touch your team too much. I'm a big believer if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes, we nothing major up front. We really need bottom 6, and we need and another right winger. We need another right winger,
right?
Because it's showing right now without Kako that Dryden Hunt is playing right wing on the second line, and that cannot continue. And this is also where it hurts that Kravtsov won't play with us because we could really use him right now.
Oh, 100%.
But the fact that Artemi Panarin still has 68 points was playing with Dryden Hunt for half the season is pretty crazy.
So let's dip into free agency a little bit. I guess the biggest question here is going to be what do you think is the big move coming for the Rangers?
Well, first signing Ryan Strome. Because everyone is saying that Panarin probably loves Ryan Strome and is going to demand he stays.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, but hey, if you have chemistry with someone, you have chemistry with someone, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, chemistry is chemistry. You can't change that. Not a ton of free agent activity coming up this year. Obviously, Ryan Strome, Greg McKegg. Yeah, you don't got a ton.
No, there's not going to be a lot. But we are probably going to have some, depending on the trade deadline, some cap room to play with something.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think generally, for the most part, I think the deadline, other than a trade or two and the off season, are going to be kind of quiet for you, actually.
To an
as crazy as that might sound.
I don't know. They're in such a weird position because of like what you said before of are they overachieving? Like how quickly are they going to go into this? Let's be a legitimate force to be reckoned with mode.
Yeah, I mean, I it's hard to tell because I mean, especially look, you rode first in the Metro for most of the regular season. We're now about at the 60 game mark of the year, and you're now sitting third.
Yeah,
and like I said, do I think you're going to miss the playoffs? I think it's going to take a lot for you to miss.
You know, I would bet a lot of money they wouldn't miss. They're not going to miss the playoffs.
I just don't know how far you would go. If I was you guys, Carolina is probably the last team I want to run into.
Honestly, Carolina is the only team I'm afraid of.
That's what I'm saying. That's the last team you want to see.
Yeah, in the entire Eastern Conference, Carolina is the only team I'm afraid of. We've beaten Florida twice. We swept Tampa in a back-to-back.
Right.
Now, playoffs is a different animal, but they've shown they can beat anybody. And again, with Igor, you can beat anybody. But if I had to pick someone to avoid, it's absolutely Carolina.
I would say, yeah, like for your first round matchup, I would probably want to like Washington's probably the team I'd want to line up with.
Yeah, Washington or Boston.
Yeah, because Pittsburgh plays you very, very well also.
They do, yeah.
So like Washington is like the ideal first team I'd want to see. Boston, maybe not so much, only because I personally feel they play a little bit more of a physical game than you. And
they do.
I mean, I don't know. Like it could go either way. You know what I mean?
I'd love to play Toronto, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, right. be the next team that just keeps them away from the playoffs again.
Exactly.
All right. That went much faster than I thought it would. But do I got a lot to say.
Yeah, a little more eventful for you.
Oh man. Okay, so I think it was obvious that this was going to be a uphill battle type season. You start the season on a 13-game road trip waiting for the UBS arena to be built. Yep. Then you get to the arena. You play 3 games, and then you go away for 2 weeks for COVID. Through all of that, you lose one of your top 2 defensemen in Ryan Pulock. You come back, you play for another week, you go on another week-long COVID break. You know, there was at one point in the season where we had 11 games in hand on the league. Like, we were halfway through January with 38 games played. You know, I mean, and like I said, I know that a lot of the season was going to be an uphill battle. There was not a thing any of us could have done about it.
Yeah.
Standings wise, I have to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. I am a little impressed. Should I say?
They've been playing better.
If you look, 55 games, 23, 24, and 8, 54 points. Obviously, they're sitting 20 points just out of the wild card. You know, that makes life very hard.
Yeah.
Seeing that you have 5 games on Washington, 5 games in hand on Washington, is definitely something to look at. In a weird way, it's like, and look, I've been getting an earful for this for the last like week or so now because I just refuse to be negative about it. Like we were saying last show, it ain't over till it's over.
Yep.
Do I think they're going to make it? No. I really don't. But we saw the 2019 Blues. We saw the 8 seed Kings completely wallop the league in the playoffs twice. You know, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm like, it's definitely unlikely. I just, if there's a team that can do it, it's this one.
Yeah.
You know, especially seeing how they've played last year, how they've been playing in the last week or so.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I know we haven't really been doing too much of our favorite record predictions, which we will get to before we get off of here, I promise. I mean, you just look. I mean, a 5-3 loss to Colorado, a 5-4 loss to Colorado, just shy of a week later.
Yeah.
Losing to Vancouver 4-3, which was almost wholeheartedly expected. Taking a look at those two Colorado games, an example, they're holding a much better team than they are to a very close game.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, the Colorado game was 3-3 at one point. A nonsense no-goal call was made. Totally shifted the momentum. I'm sure you saw what I was talking about.
Yep.
How you can tell me that was no goal beyond me. I'm sorry.
I can't.
Islander game here on the, March 7th, 1-1 going into the third. The Islanders defense just falls apart. They're down 5-1 with like 10 minutes left. They somehow rally back, make it a 5-4 game. It actually legitimately looked like at some point they were going to come back and win the game. Like, yeah. I mean, like they were peppering shots onto net. Like it actually seemed like they had a good chance. It's funny because once Colorado made it 5-1, I had actually said, as long as they make this game respectable, I can't complain a ton. And they made it a respectable.
They did.
One.
Yeah, they did.
They showed some fight and resilience, so I can't be that upset. Totally stomped out Columbus 6-0 on Thursday.
That was crazy.
Stomped out Winnipeg last night 5-2. I mean, it's, you know, if they can play like that on a more regular basis, like they got a good shot. Like tomorrow's game versus Anaheim is so important. You know, the Washington game, like next week is such an important week. Like like you have to sweep Washington out the rest of the year.
Yes,
like there's no way around.
Yeah, you have to.
You know, the Ranger game is. Look, you want to win that game no matter what, no matter what the standings are, because it's a rivalry game.
Yeah,
I don't want to say we don't have to win that game, but if we're making the playoffs, we're not catching you anyway. You know what I mean?
Yes.
These West Coast games become so important because you I don't want to call them free points, but look, it's one of those double-edged sword type things where it's free points if you win, but you don't hurt yourself if you lose because you're not giving points to your conference.
Yeah.
But these division games coming up, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Metro Division games through the rest of the month.
Yep.
You got to go 4-1. Like anything less than 4-1, you're screwed. You know, I mean,
when that loss, that you got to give it to either us or Philly.
Yeah, like you can't afford.
Like you gotta beat Columbus. You gotta beat Washington.
Yeah, and Columbus is back to back.
Yeah.
I mean, next month, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 division games next month. Again, you got to go 7-2 at least in those games.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing out the month and finishing out the season, rather. I'm sorry, with 4 of your last 6 games being division games. Like,
yeah.
Right here, April 12th. This is going to be the biggest headache of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, look, being realistic tells me that there's not much to be excited about.
Most likely not, but that could cure your headache a bit because now you're just being like, hey, let's see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like line combinations go, there's so many questions. Like, Anthony Beauvillier has like 9 goals this season. I don't know why he's playing on the first line. Kyle Palmieri, $5.5 million per for 5 years. He should be on the first line. That's what he's getting paid for. Parise, I don't have a single complaint about him this year. Obviously, he's not going to be the 30 goals Zach Parise.
Of course.
But he's never takes a shift off. He's been fantastic. Yeah. Oh boy, do I have problems with this? Andy Green, like I've said a couple of times already, doesn't bother me. He's playing very, very good hockey. The big dope on the first pairing. Look, when we spoke about this earlier, that was a playoff signing. He was not supposed to be playing every day. Polak got hurt. They had to find a way to get him into the lineup. The taxi squad kind of went away after the whole COVID outbreak. I get it, but there's just no reason for it anymore. You've got that kid's. You've got our Sebastian Aho.
Yeah.
Who's been buried in Bridgeport for 7 years. Comes up for 9 games a year, maybe. Like, the kid needs a chance to play. And I've been saying it for years. If you're not going to play him full-time, trade him. Get something for him before you can't get anything anymore.
Yes.
I'm
just looking at that. I was looking at that power play line. That is the least scary power play line I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's a little bit scarier than you think it is. If you eliminate Pajot from the equation, the right wing and the points, like this is the scariest side of that power play.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you focus so much of your attention here, you forget that guy.
Oh, God.
The guy who's literally just stands on top of goalies all night. Which is funny you say, actually, because the Islanders' power play is now 6 for 11 in the last 5 games.
Really?
6 for 11 in the last 4 games. The power play has been unstoppable. I think they actually had 2 power play goals last night. The second power play unit that's like Pee-wee hockey. The goaltending this year, my God.
They really got to dish Varlamov.
Well, the whole thing with him today, he refused to lift his no trade clause for Edmonton. Yeah.
Really?
That was an interesting one. My theory with that whole thing is like it's just got to be that he doesn't want to move to Canada.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is like I'm totally cool with that. It's Sorokin. Look, he's clearly as day the guy. Like, there's absolutely no way around that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like roster moves and stuff like that, all you're doing this year is offloading.
Yeah.
I think this might be the year that they finally trade Josh Bailey.
About time.
I'll be honest with you, Beauvillier needs to go. It's again, this is just one of those things where it's so hard to tell what they're going to do. If that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you guys just need an entire offensive overhaul.
But like they need just a pure goal scorer.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem since before Trotz got here.
Yep.
They need. Looking at the offseason, like I would love to have Johnny Gaudreau here. I'd love to have Philip Forsberg here. Are they guys we can afford? Probably not.
I don't think they're coming to Long Island anyway. But you never know.
Look, I've said that about quite a few people.
Yeah, fair.
Like, I didn't think Kyle Palmieri was going to re-up here. Sure enough. Yeah. Pajot signs an extension an hour after they trade for him. So I don't want to say Long Island's not a destination, or I don't want to call them a destination now, but like they're getting attention now, especially with a brand new arena, competent ownership, competent coaching staff, management. Like they have attention now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I was saying, most of it's going to come down to finances.
Yeah, they just say, "I got to do something," because when your leading goal scorer is Brock Nelson, that's a problem.
See, I disagree because I think he is dangerously overlooked through the league.
Yeah, but to be your top goal scorer,
again, I'm not surprised. Barzal missed time, but you think about it, everybody on the roster, with the exception of Brock Nelson, has missed 5 or more games. Brock Nelson only missed when he missed games. I think he only missed 3. So for this year, generally, I would agree with you. If he's outscoring Matt Barzal, that's an issue. But don't get me wrong, it's kind of a good issue to have. But it's an issue.
What's up with Barzal, dude?
This season, generally, he's been one of the only constants.
Barzal's not doing it.
No, not this year.
12 goals.
Well, I've been saying for years, if Barzal took a quarter of the passes he made and turned them into shots, he's a 40-goal scorer without question.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit of. I'd like to see Robin Salo up here next year. That kid's gonna be fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to judge.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, how many times can I say it? You guys are a weird team.
That's what I mean. Roster. You go to the East Finals 2 years in a row, and then here we are.
Yeah.
So let's see. This actually was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. We did almost hit a half hour.
That's pretty dope.
I'll take that. But we're gonna do something a little different this week.
Oh boy.
We're gonna make picks for the next 2 weeks, since we won't be here this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, we might not be. We don't know yet. More than likely.
Sure.
This is your schedule, so we'll include tonight. We'll include the Dallas game because I'm sure, obviously, everybody knows at this point it's pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So go from Dallas and come down to Jersey.
Dallas
down to Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah. Coming off those 2 bad losses, but those were 2 hungry teams who were playing bad. Dallas has been playing well. They're a very good home team. They don't have Miro Heiskanen. And I also think Igor is pissed. So I'm going to give him a win yesterday/tonight against Dallas.
Okay.
I will be at the game against the Ducks, so therefore I'm giving them the win because they seem to always win when I go.
I don't want to hear it.
They're going to beat the Islanders. It's going to be a sweaty game because they're always sweaty. That game is going to be like a 2-1 game in overtime or something.
And that's a rescheduled game from the COVID break.
Yeah. All right, so those threes, they got 3 wins. I say they lose. That back-to-back is so bad.
Well, that back-to-back, I think, is going to go based off of the standard we've kind of been going off all year.
Yeah.
Who's playing which? Because that's a hard back-to-back to begin with.
So I think, okay, I'm going to give them the win in Tampa. Igor plays against Tampa. And then we get absolutely cornholed by Carolina.
Okay.
Georgiev plays that game. We beat the Devils. And I don't want to, I feel like I'm saying they're going to win too much, but I think they're just so good at home. We beat Pittsburgh. So I did just give them a 1, 2, 3, 4, 6-1
just about
run just there.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm confident in all those picks.
So this is what I got for you. Beat Dallas. You're going to lose to Anaheim. You lose to the Islanders. You beat Tampa. I'm just going to mess with you now. You're going to beat Carolina.
Okay, this is just getting silly.
You're going to lose to the Devils.
Oh,
and you're going to beat Pittsburgh. The only reason I say you're going to lose to the Devils is because the Devils are another one of those teams right now on a streak of just beating teams they should not be beating.
They've been scoring a lot, but they didn't score against the Rangers.
So I'm giving you 3-3.
Which is fair. I just I definitely the one I really disagree with is Anaheim. Anaheim defensively has just been so bad. And they're at home. The Rangers are so good at home.
I was going to say I'm willing to change that to a win because I just realized it's at the Garden.
Yeah, that's the. Other than that, like all the rest can happen. The Islander game can go either way. Like I said, I think that game is a 2-1 game in overtime or a shootout.
As far as this, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be pretty busy till the next time we're here.
Yeah, sure. This is not.
This is the this was a franchise record for a packed schedule, by the way. This is 17 games.
All right, so you got to go to Boston.
Let's see. So tonight we're off. Tomorrow we play Anaheim. I say we win that.
I agree.
I say we lose to Washington. I say we beat you. I say we beat Dallas. I'm going to say we beat Philly. We're going to lose to Ottawa because that's an Islander thing to do. I will beat Detroit, and I think we could beat Boston too.
Okay.
I totally just threw a pipe dream at you, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I get the hopefulness.
You know what it is? It's just like, I'm thinking of it overall. Like, overall, we play the Ducks pretty well.
Yeah.
Washington, it's either going to be a blowout or it's going to go to overtime. Just like you were saying. It's going to, like with you and Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's either going to go to the wire or it's going to be over by the first period. I got to pick a win against you. You know that.
Yeah. No.
So honestly, I take your pick with a grain of salt here. Take mine with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that game's going to be
total bias.
Sweaty.
The Dallas game, again, I think that's going to be one of those games where it's like,
yeah,
maybe. The Philly game, you got to win the Philly game. Like when I'm looking at the schedule here, like just of all of these, like these three right here are the non-negotiables you need to win.
Yeah.
The Ottawa game is, like I said, they just lose to teams that they should not lose to. That's just how they go. Detroit, 50-50.
Yeah. Depends on what Detroit shows up.
And Boston, again, I'm willing to throw 50-50 at them as well.
Yeah, I mean,
the Islanders just, again, they just play everybody so differently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not far off from that. I do think you guys beat the Ducks just because I think your style of play is going to beat them, is going to beat theirs with how good you guys are defensively and how bad they are defensively. I think you guys actually go into Washington and win.
I hope you're right.
Just because how Washington's been so on-off. I agree with you with the Rangers is going to go. It's a 50-50 that game completely. But that back-to-back between Dallas and Philly completely depends on the goaltending. I think you guys start Varlamov versus Dallas and lose.
Yeah, you have to, because Varlamov is...
Yeah, because you need to beat Philly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, Philly is
so
like... The games that you need to win, Sorokin needs to be.
So that is why I'm picking Dallas to win that game, even though I know from personal experience you guys play the Stars very well because I always go when the Stars are here and you guys usually win. But Varlamov is just blech, so I'm gonna say you lose to Dallas, but I'm gonna give you the win against Ottawa.
Okay.
Detroit, I don't know. I might take Detroit there, but I do think you guys beat Boston.
I respect your decision.
Thank you.
Thank you. That went quicker than I thought, and it's as crazy as it sounds. We've been doing this almost 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But as crazy as it sounds, it's not really much to talk about. You guys are really good. I'm really bad. So.
Which, you know what? Because we're in the quiet before the storm of Monday, the 21st.
That's the thing. The next 8 days are the calm before the storm. It's like anything can happen right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure the conversation like this will be much easier in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Once, because no one can make any moves. So
yeah, once stuff is set in stone.
But it's the same thing. Like if we were in October or November, same thing. Very easy conversation.
Yes,
we are months away from the deadlines.
Yeah.
But I need something to throw. The episode's over. Hold on.
Believe me.
Here, I got a stapler.
Nice.
There we go. All right, so we're gonna be apart for about 8 days. We're gonna have a lot. We got a lot of prep work to do this week for that day.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I might see you at that Stars Islanders game. You know.
you will not see me. You know I work nights.
Oh, never mind. I don't know, dude. I know you work with the Islanders. That's all I know.
You see me later tonight, though, when we play the Ducks. I'll be here.
Oh, there you go.
I know you won't be here, but
Yeah, I will not.
ladies and gentlemen, episode number 8. Quick one, but a fun one. Getting to actually finally talk about our own teams in depth. I'm Tyler Adelle, along here with Andrew Mucaria.
4 for 4.
4 for 4 today. We will see you live this coming Monday, the 21st, for trade deadline day.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, and have a beautiful week. Except you. I don't like you.
Yeah, that's good.